So here's a look at LAX Airport in Los Angeles. No plane. Oh, we see a plane on the runway right there. Earlier this morning, the Federal Aviation Agency reported a computer failure that impacted flights nationwide. The FAA has said that the ground stop has been lifted and that air traffic operations are resuming gradually across the U.S. The affected system, known as Notice to Air Missions, is responsible for sending out flight hazards and real-time restrictions to pilots. The problems this morning impacted passengers from coast to coast. FlightAware reports nearly 5,000 flights delayed across the country. Further details and cancellations, or rather delays and cancellations, are likely throughout the day.
CBS News correspondent Kris Van Cleave is at Reagan National Airport. That's in Arlington, Virginia, and he's joining us now to talk more about this. So, Kris, just describe the scene for us now.
Well, Vlad, let's not be warning people about tomorrow just yet. We're starting to watch this airport come back to life a little bit. Tony, I don't know if you can pan over there, but we can see an American Airlines flight actually that's just about to taxi away from the gates here. One of the first planes we've seen moving in hours. And what the airlines expect to be able to do, assuming this FAA system continues working, is they're likely going to ask for what they call a ground delay program, basically reduce the number of expected arrivals and departures so that you don't have all of those planes trying to pull out at once and you just get a traffic jam on the taxiway and the runway. So it's going to be a bit of a crawl, walk, run approach to restarting things. What's different than if you have a storm, you at least know where all your planes are. They were wherever they were supposed to start the day. There will be cancellations because of this today, just because crews only have so much duty time in a day. How many there will be, that remains to be seen. But I think you'll see airlines make the sacrifices today as far as delays and cancellations so that they're ready tomorrow for a normal day. All of that, of course, is assuming this NOTAM system, Notice to Air Missions system, continues to work. It is a safety critical system, so if it's not working, those planes don't move.
Kris, is it me, or it just seems like we've had a series of incidents, not necessarily with this system, but technical sort of glitches.
Southwest comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly. Recently, that really sort of it makes you question whether or not these systems are able to handle the capacity, the new capacity, since people have come back from the pandemic and they want to travel.
Well, I will say that there's actually fewer people still flying than before the pandemic. So the issue here obviously is under investigation, and the FAA is saying that they are now starting to look into why the system failed. It is certainly an open secret in the airline industry that a lot of these systems are built on very old technology that you just kind of keep layering things on. So when an old system has a hiccup, it can create real gridlock. I mean, This is basically a messaging system that alerts pilots and crews to situational changes on their routing. Basically, it can be anything from like there's been a flock of geese sighted around the airport to because of the rain conditions in Los Angeles, or San Francisco, these runways are not in play, or a whole host of things. But it's not something that, as a flyer, as a passenger, you would ever think about, and as a flight crew, you almost wouldn't ever think about because it works. The fact that we're talking about an unprecedented failure of this system tells you that it works most of the time. Certainly, it has been a rough couple of weeks in sort of a macro sense for the airlines. Another American Airlines flight is coming off the gate here at DCA, so that's a good sign as we're seeing planes board and leave the gates. That's that crawl we were talking about. So hopefully at some point we'll be walking. But yeah, I mean, look, if you've been a Southwest flyer, this could trigger your travel PTSD a little bit, but it is different than what we saw over the holidays, where you had just an operational meltdown at one airline. This is a system that every airline relies on, and there was a ground stop in effect, but that doesn't mean that no flights took off today. There were flights that were operating. All the red-eye flights that took off from the West Coast that were going east, they were flying. Some flights were leaving the Florida area as late as 7 a.m. today. So you're going to see now a gradual recovery, but already more than 700 flights canceled today. That will go up. More than 4,000 flights delayed. That will surely go up. It will be an unpleasant day to fly. We spoke to a couple here who are going on a cruise. They have to be at the cruise ship at 5 p.m. today. Their flight to Miami leaves at 10 a.m. They've got about a 4-hour buffer to get from the airport to the cruise terminal in Florida. We hope they make it. But it is possible that that flight might leave more than 4 hours late.
I can't imagine. Kris, before I let you go, I know you've recently interviewed the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg. And I'm curious because, perhaps people are not 100% clear as to what the responsibilities of the Transportation Secretary might possibly be. So in a situation like this, as eyes are all now drawn to his department, what is the responsibility of the Department of Transportation here? And is there anything that people might blame the department, but there's nothing that they could do, neither in the Southwest case or even here. What they can only do is simply manage the situation, right? Or not?
Well, certainly it is not up to the secretary himself to fix a computer issue. So, but it is the DOT. It's kind of like when you need a printer fixed at work, and there's seems to be one person who knows how to do it. It feels like that's kind of what this situation was. But joking aside, this is an FAA system. The FAA is part of the Department of Transportation. So this is on the Department of Transportation and the FAA to identify what the problem was and fix it. Now, obviously this is a government agency. They have the resources that they have. If this is a system that needs to be replaced or there's been deferred maintenance, those types of things, you have to look at why that's happened and whether that's a funding issue or a priority issue. And those are questions the secretary will need to get answers to. And as he has been very public facing, holding the airlines accountable for when there have been problems with the airlines, he's going to have to be publicly accountable for this one because this happens on his watch. It is an agency that is under the Department of Transportation, and it is a system of theirs that failed. The airlines did not create this problem today. These delays are not the fault of the airlines. So that's something the secretary will have to explain. And ultimately, the DOT and FAA need to create a robust enough system that their technology works.
Indeed. Kris, thank you very much.